Hi, welcome back to the Andy Holding Speed Figures YouTube channel. This is Sam Turner with you this morning, just talking through my 10 to follow for the National Hunt season. So we've got Cheltenham this weekend, so I thought it'd be appropriate time to try and go through a list of horses. And obviously the 10 to follow competition is going to get ramped up very quickly. So really interesting time of year, some fantastic prospects we've already seen in the racing in the National Hunt sphere that we've had so far this year in the last month or so. But obviously the first proper Cheltenham meeting you suggest is where it all starts, building up through to the Ladbroke Trophy and then on to Christmas. So a quick list of horses then for you just to digest and perhaps give you one or two ideas, maybe one or two you haven't heard of, hopefully a couple of old stalwarts that you like yourselves, and just to whet the appetite really for a fantastic time of year. Even though we're in lockdown, fingers crossed we can get some enjoyment watching some brilliant National Hunt horses in the weeks to come. So I'll start off with Cadabra, who was obviously second to Shishkin in the Supreme Novices Hurdle, a strong travelling type who's well suited by decent ground and a decent strong pace. A horse that can move very well through his race. He was pretty underwhelming really at Down Royal on his comeback, but I wouldn't read too much into that. Aspire Tower was much too strong for him that day. He was a little bit awkward, but I'm sure Gordon Elliott can get him a lot straighter than that. And I wouldn't write him off just yet. So that's Cadabra, probably a horse that in the spring on decent ground, fingers crossed we actually get to Cheltenham in the spring, he could probably deliver a big performance in something like the Champion Hurdle. The second one is Gills, trained by Nicky Martin, probably a horse would be on your radar, I would suggest, after the bumper win at Warwick last year, which was pretty exceptional. And then he made a really pleasing start to his hurdling career with a really polished performance at Lingfield, travelling very strong. He's got loads of scope, strong gallop of this horse, travels very well in his races, and certainly jumped pretty well as well at Lingfield. The form's already been boosted by the third Take Your Time winning and landing a bit of a touch there on Tuesday afternoon. So that was a really, really stylish performance from Gills, and he's definitely one to keep on side in staying novice hurdles this year. And I think he's probably up to winning a graded race of some description somewhere. Very exciting prospect. Third is Bustleton. That's Busselton. Now under the sort of guardianship of Joseph O'Brien. He's a horse that started life in France, winning an Auteuil 16-runner hurdle. Not a horse that I know a great deal about, to be honest. Don't follow the French form particularly strongly. Usually have enough on the plate watching all the English and Irish stuff, the British and Irish stuff. But Bustleton is a horse that's been mentioned to me by a good pal of mine who works over in Joseph O'Brien's yard as a possible juvenile to keep on side this year, an exciting prospect. As I say, won his 19-runner Auteuil hurdle on debut at a big price, winning by a couple of lengths, and he's shown up very well in his work so far at Joseph. So put him in your 10 to follow, or just definitely have him in your track at Bustleton. Chantry House is number 4 on the list, obviously third in the Supreme. Just a big backward horse, really. Just wasn't quite ready for the likes of Cadabra and Shishkin, who were a little bit more battle-hardened. I thought he was really impressive at Newbury. He won at Cheltenham pre-Christmas as well in good style, so handles the track well. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go novice chasing this year. And I must admit, I've yet to catch up with Nicky Henderson's stable tour, so not quite sure what the plan is for him, but a horse with loads of scope, and be disappointed if he doesn't make his mark over fences. Number 5, Envoire Allen, who would probably make, I'd say, 90% of or 95% of the 10 to follow lists. Don't need to wax too lyrical about him. Won well at Down Royal in the tongue tie first time on his comeback. Really, really taken with that performance. Very stylish effort. And just like the way he went through that race, how he measured his fences, very accurate, very effective, very efficient. Stays very well, obviously, has got pace for 2 miles and stays 2.5. Future Gold Cup winner, all being well. Maybe not this year, of course, but certainly want to keep on side through all the novice chases this year as we build to the spring. mcfabulous is the 6th one on the list, trained by Paul Nicholls. Obviously did really well last year, was very well placed to win at Kempton off 132 post Cheltenham, and started this year in really good fashion, winning the Persian Wall, which is a sort of a race that Paul has looked to farm in recent years. That was a stylish enough performance. He beat quite a strong field really for his early season form. I was just taken with the way that he power clear after the last. They can get him a lot better than that, and I think the Stayers Hurdle is going to be the route that he's going to be aimed at. So, I'd say a race at the moment, if you look at the anti-post markets, it's full of, I don't know, one or two jaded horses and horses that haven't really quite come up to the mark. I think it's right for a newcomer, really, like a McFabulous and perhaps another horse later in my list as well, to come through the ranks and really make their presence felt in that sphere. So McFabulous, that Chepstow comeback suggested that all's on track with him, and he's one to keep on side. Protectorate is number 7 on the list, who won his Carlisle Beginners Chase in really exuberant fashion. He was sort of biding time over hurdles a little bit. He was very keen, very edgy when he came over from France. They had trouble with the skeletons in just getting him to settle down and race properly. But he's now looking as though over fences they could really make a man of him and just get him to measure his obstacles a little bit more and treat them with some respect. I thought he was an absolutely exhilarating winner at Carlisle. The time was very good, and he was a real professional over his fences, very slick, very efficient, and just a horse to keep on side. I just imagine him whizzing round Sandown and really attacking those railway fences in something like the Grade 1 Novices Chase there at the Henry VIII. So he's definitely one for the list. Protectorate looks an improved performer this year. Number 8 is Saint Roi, the county hurdle winner, trained by Willie Mullins. That county hurdle is working out exceptionally well at the moment. A whole host of winners have come out of it subsequently, and just go back and watch that run. And, for a horse that was very much in the embryonic stages of his hurdling career, to go and do what he did to battle hardened handicappers, the likes of Aramon, who's sadly out for the season, but just the way that he dismissed him with a blistering turn of foot after the last was really, really eye-catching. He can polish up his jumping a little bit. His technique leaves a little bit to be desired, but I think Willie Mullins can get him better than he was at Tipperary on his comeback, where he showed good speed. I just think he's a proper tool, to be honest. And although Epatante sets a very high standard at the top of the market, I think he can sort of graduate, and hopefully he can put up a bold showing in the Morgiana before going on and keep him progressing through the year. Number 9 is Cyder Burleigh, 2-time winner of the Pertemps, and very, very impressive in seeing off the storyteller in last year's renewal. Had a great understanding, I think, with Barry Geraghty, and Barry was brilliant how he just wound him up and cajoled him into the bridle, and wasn't always the most fluent at his hurdles side of Burleigh, but I thought he jumped really well on his comeback in the Liz Mullen hurdle at Navan over the weekend. Over 2.5 as well, wouldn't have been his cup of tea particularly. Wants a good 3 miles in a test. I thought it was a lovely starting point, very weak in the market, but did exceptionally well to win. So I think there's a lot more to come for this year from Cyder Burleigh. Obviously loves Cheltenham and is very, very capable of stepping up into Patton Race Company at something like the Stayers Hurdle. I could see him, if he continues to progress and the season goes well for him, I think he's going to be one of the more fancied horses for a Stayers Hurdle. Last but no means least, the Big Getaway. Novice chaser, I think, this year with Willie Mullins, 3rd in the Ballymore, obviously behind Envoy Allen, led them down the hill, was a little bit sluggish. I think it was either 3 out or 2 out, and that sort of cooked his goose a little bit. But he just went there off the back of just one win, wide margin Nace win, and to take on 1 or 2 really good quality horses, not least Envoy Allen, and run as well as he did was a big indication that he's obviously going to be a very big force over fences if he takes to them. But great big strapping horse, as his name would suggest, by Getaway, and just looks one that's going to be tailor-made for something like the old RSA Chase. Just loved the way that he went round Cheltenham, attacked his hurdles that day, got a good experience there, and I'll be disappointed if he doesn't make up into a high-class chaser in time. So there you go, that's the 10. Cadabra, Bear Gills, Bustleton, Chantry House, Envoy Allen, McFabulous, Protectorate, Saint Roi, Cyder Burleigh, and the Big Getaway. That's my 10 to follow for this year. I hope you have fun compiling yours. Hopefully we can get Andy Holding to actually compile the 10 to follow. As you know, he's a bit of a technophobe, and getting him to do a video is difficult, but we'll be working away at him, and fingers crossed he can perhaps post something next week and give you all his 10 to follow and the benefit of his experience and race reading skills. Thanks very much. Bye for now. Don't forget to keep checking into the channel, because we hope to produce a lot more content now the National Hunt season is up and running. Bye for now. Good luck with your National Hunt betting.